everyone, this is Ep32, and welcome to episode 32 of Ep20's Let's Play Satisfactory series, where I'm cooking up a little train station. So last episode we found bauxite ore, and what I want to do is bring that bauxite ore back to my main base. So I ran a giant sky platform. I forget at the end of last episode if I finished the platform, if I was still working on it, but then what I did is I set up a tube system to get up and down. So it's a pretty long tube system. You'll see it probably at some point in this episode. So we're really high up in the air because this is the elevation that the bauxite's at, right? So not bad. So in today's episode, I'm gonna quickly, probably mostly off camera, run some train tracks, right? Get that cooking. And then what I'm gonna do is set up the train station on the other end, start piping the bauxite in, and we're gonna look at bauxite processing and figure out exactly what's gonna be needed to do said bauxite processing. Sound like a plan? So step one, let's get the railway up and running, and then step two, we'll deal with processing. Cool? So I'll be right back. Once I mean, you guys saw me do this for the plastic and rubber thing, so I don't want to spend the whole episode building the railway. So I'm just gonna kind of let you know I'm doing it, and then come back in a minute when it's done. Be right back. So this railway is basically almost perfectly straight, which is kind of cool. And also, we're right next to our crystal stuff, so if we decide that we want to bring in our quartz crystals and hook those into the train, it should be quite simple to do. Now, before we finish this railway, I think what we should have is a nice sized platform over here. So I'm thinking like, I don't know, 2-ish in that direction, and, you know, that should be good. How's that look? Dope. Didn't mean to do that. Yes. Don't forget to let go of Alt before you click. Otherwise, it'll do a ping like I just did. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Alright, and then we can have the train station nice and centered. And remember, you want to make sure it's oriented the right way. The ladders should be on the front, and the sign should be on the back of the roof. And that's how you know it's kind of the right direction, right? So we're going to call this bauxite. Okay, then we're going to have our freight platform. There you go, sir. And you're going to be loading. The other side will be unloading. And that looks pretty cool. And this guy should be powered now. So we don't need to worry too much about power for him. It's all good. Yeah, look, our consumption just bumped up because train stations require power. Nice. So that should be good. That should be cool. Let's real quick get our electric locomotive. Remember, we want one facing one way, and then we're going to want a freight car. And then we're going to want another electric locomotive facing the other way. And we can set up the schedule on this guy where we will add, change you to bauxite. You can go to bauxite first, autopilot on. Yes, there is a timetable. Stop lying to me. Perfect. That's what's up. All right, autopilot off real quick. So what I'm going to want to do now is get bauxite into this dude. So let's get tier 3 belts is what I'll start with. I don't know how much bauxite we're going to need. We might bump this up to tier 4. We'll figure it out. I'm not quite sure. That's feeding into the thing, right? Yes, that's what we want. Perfect. All right, now let's go find our bauxite ore. Right, and what I'm going to do is bring this right along here. And I'm going to start with probably just the... yeah, it looks pretty good. Probably just start with only the pure vein that we found that's over here. And then we will expand that as needed kind of deal. Right? So, like, if we need more, we can get more. Sound like a plan? So he should be around here somewhere. I'm kind of following the stuff. I'm actually gonna change this up. I like the idea of going up and over this thing. Isn't that cool? Then we can kind of continue to follow. Uh-oh. Spiders. Look at them all. There's a million of them. I hate you, spiders. I hope nobody's afraid of spiders. I can put on arachnophobia mode if anybody's afraid of spiders. Though arachnophobia mode is a little bit creepier. Arachnophobia mode. Just in case you're afraid of spiders, you can turn that on. And then, you know, you'll be much better off. Hello, spider. See? They're just friendly little cats. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. Alright, arachnophobia mode is going off. I needed to just turn that on for this moment just to show you arachnophobia mode because, you know. Because, you know. How could I not spend a moment showing you arachnophobia mode? Alright, now where is... I think that's the bauxite vein, right? That looks like the bauxite vein. That would be it. Okay, cool. So let's make in our equipment workshop real quick. Real fast, we're going to make 2 portable miners. So that we can make a Mark II miner here. And as a reminder, that will do 240 parts per minute if we don't overclock it. Okay. Now, whether or not that's going to be enough, we'll find out. Now, where is the other bauxite vein? Like, do we want to tap into... There's a normal one around here, isn't there? That's not too far? I just want to see roughly where it is. Because it wouldn't hurt to kind of get it going. I was going to do just the pure one. What we got over here? Let's do this. I think there's a slug in there. Oh no, it's just a Mercer sphere. I mean, I'll grab it, because why not? But yes, not as exciting as I had hoped. Alright, now where's that other... He's actually quite a good distance away. He really is, further than you would think. Remember, the map's a little, or the marker's a little bit weird with it. It says 200, but it's not 200. And this is a impure node. Okay. So that's really kind of a meh kind of node. What about the one that was up here? Because we could 100% just do this real quick and add the... I think that's a normal one. Wasn't it impure, normal, and pure? So I've already got pure going, right? And that should be already filling the train station. Now we just need to get this one cooking. I see a yellow slug. Yes, don't mind if I do. Every now and then I'm like flying through the terrain and I'm like, man, how nice does this area look? Now this was the normal one, right? Yes, this was the normal one. So let's do this one. Let's tap in and run this over to our train station. Shouldn't be a problem. All we have to do is get an equipment workshop and 2 more doohickeys. And then we will merger this into our line over there. Okay, so miner Mark II, which should be heading off in that general direction, because that's roughly where my train station is, like over there-ish. Okay, so we'll bring power into you. And this should be 120, right? And 120 and 240 is 360. And as a reminder, our Mark III belts can do 270. So we want to make sure that after the merger, we should upgrade to Mark IV belts. Cool? Okay. So I'm going to try to run this nicely. Remember, you can run things through terrain. Generally, I think it looks a little bit wonky and buggy, so I like avoid it. But I won't go too crazy avoiding it. What is this super smooth looking rock? I don't know, probably nothing. Okay, so we really want to be heading more in this direction. Okay. I'm going to start ramping this up a little bit so that the angle is good for getting up to here. Right? That looks cool. And look, there's our train station. Beautiful. Right? Looks nice. And then what we'll do is just drop a merger like that. And then you feed into the merger. And then after the merger should be a Mark IV belt. Cool. So that these guys merge without an issue. Good deal? Alright. Nice. So you're getting bauxite. Let's jump into the train here and turn on autopilot. And then he should pull into the bauxite station, collect the bauxite, bring it back to the other station back at our home base, and we'll be good. Coming into dock. Give me the bauxite. All the bauxites. Looking good to me, right? Alright, so that's bauxite getting back to our base. Now we need to process the stuff. Which I'm going to have to remember how that works, because I kind of forget. So we're going to figure out what that means. I feel like water was involved. Wasn't water involved, or am I crazy? We're going to have to figure out if there's like a water source close enough to our base that we can tap into. Now, it's funny because it doesn't look like the bauxite is that far away from our base. And if you're just straight shotting through the sky, it's not. Right? Like, it's really not that far away. Man, look how cool this world looks, huh? It's just visually, it's a gorgeous game. Right? Like the waterfalls and the tree biome and like the mushroomy biome over there, like all the stuff, like just such a cool, visually impressive, beautiful game. All right. Now I have to quickly, before you dock, hit this button and tell him to unload his cargo. Just made it. Nice. Beautiful. It's so good. All right, so now we've got bauxite coming in. Beautiful. All right, let's come back in just a moment, and I'm going to figure out from down here. See, I kind of did this with the tubing. It works out pretty well. It's fast to get down. It's a little slow to get up, because going up is slower than going down, but it's fine. Actually, you know what? Let's, before I come back here, let's look at the production of bauxite. I think what I'll do, because I want to see what resources can I make right now. And we're going to need to look at each of them in turn. So let's look at the tier upgrading thing that I did last episode and figure out what resources we have access to right now. So under milestones, we'll check out bauxite refinement, right? Alumina solution, aluminum scrap. So everything's called aluminum? Is that ALUM is pretty much everything, right? ALUM is everything that we can make. There's also radio control units that we'll want to take a look at. But let's look up alumina solution. The standard recipe is bauxite and water. Gives me alumina solution and silica. Okay. And that's made in a refinery. So we combine bauxite with water to get aluminum solution. Okay. You can package that if you want. And then aluminum scrap is the solution plus coal. Interesting. Interesting. We don't have coal at our base. It's not far. We have it over at our steel refinery, which ain't far. It's doable, right? And that will give you the scrap and wastewater. That's tricky. That's tricky. And then ingots are scrap and silica make ingots. I see. This is definitely different than it used to be. So we'll get silica. So we'll get 12 and 5. And that 12 becomes 18. And then it's 6 and 5 yield 4. So we're gonna need to have more silica, right? And then alclad aluminum sheets are aluminum mixed with copper. And then aluminum casing is just aluminum ingots in a constructor. Okay. So there's the assembly, there's the foundry, there's the refinery. So we're going to need some things for sure. So step 1 is combining the raw bauxite with water. So step 1 is to find water nearby. And then we have to get coal nearby. I feel like there's a water thing around here. I feel like there's a water thing. Isn't there water nearby? Or am I completely crazy? Isn't this water right here? Told you there was a little bit of water near our base. Did I tell you that? I'm telling you that now. I'm telling you that now. Okay. Water extractor. I don't know how many of these we can fit in here, but we're going to do our best. We're going to try to be as efficient as possible with our water supply. Resource is not deep enough. Stop with that. I feel like that could go back a little bit further. Yes, that looks cool. And then we might be able to sneak a couple more into here. I just want to, like, get them placed as efficiently as possible, and then we'll kind of advance from there, right? I want to see how many I can fit in here and have an idea of how much water I'm going to be able to produce. I think 5 will hopefully be enough, right? I don't see how that would be anywhere near not enough. I don't know exactly how many we need, but 5 looks like the number that can fit inside this little lake. So I'll take that, right? So remember, in order to get water way up there, we would need a lot of pumps. I feel like that's not the way we want to go with this. So what I'm going to do is build out some semblance of a platform that will that will handle this for us. So let me cut down all these trees that are in the way. And I'll come back in a minute, and we will build a platform here. And on that platform will be our aluminum processing line. And it'll do the aluminum with the water and the coal and all the things to eventually add up to getting the aluminum components we need. Sound like a plan? Let's come back in a minute. Alright, so I'm going to hope that this is enough space to do all this stuff. Because, so number one, we have like 4 sets of machines to run through, right? If we look up the aluminum stuff, machine 1, machine 2, machine 3, machine 4. And that's not counting the casings, which is technically a 5th machine. So we have to keep that in mind. And we have to consider space, right? Because I can't expand any more beyond this direction because the pumps are all here, right? And we don't really want to expand into this direction because gas. And expanding in this direction might be tricky because a little cliff going on there. So, stuff to keep in mind. And we should figure out where we're going to start and branch to, right? So, like, we could start our machines here, right? So we could have the water coming along this line. We could have the aluminum coming down here and coming over to here. And then we could go out this way. And that should be good. Because then if we have to expand a little bit more out this way, we can. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I like that plan. I think it's a good plan. It's what I'm gonna have happen, and therefore that is now the plan. We're just gonna run some power over to these dudes and be ready for them. Now, another thing I might want to do, just because we're getting to the point where we're gonna be doing liquids again, and having more liquid transport is gonna be a good thing. 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. All you guys kick on and start pumping water for me. Thank you. We might want to unlock that Mark II pipeline stuff, which is the last of the Tier 6 guys that we have to unlock. So let's go do that real quick, just so we have access to Mark II pipes. Because remember, that'll let us have twice as much fluid flow. I think it's 600 instead of 300, right? Cubic meters of fluid per pipe line, and that should be cool. So we just need a little bit of copper and rubber. And we should be cool. We need like 1,000 of these guys. We'll make sure to grab a bunch. And a little bit of rubber. And that should be good. A smidgen of rubber. And one of these days, I'm going to have to really look into and consider just completely refactoring some aspects of our factory. Because believe it or not, we're actually doing pretty good. We're actually not doing bad in terms of production of resources and whatnot. Even our heavy dudes here are not poor. Like, we're not in a bad way with them. So we should really consider, I don't know, like, part of me is like, wouldn't it be cool to completely refactor everything here with all our new recipes, right? Like steel screws and all that stuff. And then the other part of me is like, but it's actually working pretty well. Like, I didn't do a terrible job with this factory, and all the things that it's making right now, we're making enough of. So, you know, I don't know. It feels like we're okay. Alright, I should restock.
Milestone reached. Improved pipelines and pumps can now be constructed, capable of handling increased throughput of any fluid, as well as providing increased pressure handling for better vertical transport, respectively.
Awesome. Well, that's cool. Okay, so I like to have 400 of each, or 2 stacks, if you will. And I should consider more copper piping, because we're going to use that in a minute for our aluminum. Alright, so our plan now is let's do Mark IV belts. Right? I think that's a good plan. Oh, okay, that's why. I was like, why does that look like it's tilted, but it's giving me the straight line? Because it's a liar. That looks good. And then you should be Mark IV. And we're basically just gonna bring these down as far as they will go. Now let's make sure that we have this equipped. Okay. And then Mark IV this guy, as far as he'll go down. Okay. Hey, I was jetpacking, sir. And then, oh wow, we can't afford. Okay, cool. I'm gonna need more of that. I didn't realize, but that's okay. I don't think I need to do that. All right, I need more of those things, but let's fill up our health real quick. And empty an inventory space. It's you get to a point where inventory becomes a little bit of a problem. And there's a few things that we still have inventories to unlock, right? So we still have more inventory spacing to get through. I'm gonna get 3 stacks of you and put away that bit. Cool. Whee! Jumping off things with a jetpack equipped, fun. Jumping off things without a jetpack equipped, bad idea. Wouldn't recommend. 0 out of 10. But now we have our aluminum down here at the bottom-ish. How cool is that? And now we can get Mark IV belts. I really love the addition of the... You know, maybe I should do one more set of you. I really love the addition of this wheel. That was added in Update 4. Super good. Super good, right? I really like it. Alright, now what we need is refineries to process our water and aluminum into alumina solution, okay? So what we want to have here then is kind of like we did at our refineries back with our oil area. We're probably going to want... Now, how much do we need per minute? Wow, we need 120 bauxite per minute. Whew. How much did we say we're getting? 360? Right? Isn't that what we're getting? Because we're doing 240 and 120. So we can do 3 refineries, right? We also need 180 cubic meters of water per minute. That is a lot. I do not know how much each one of these pumps does, but I'm now concerned that we don't have enough water. But we're going to find out momentarily once I check how much you do. So you do 120 per minute. So actually that's not terrible. So 120 per minute times 5 would be 600 per minute. And 180 times 3 would be 360, and 18 is 420. I'm mathing. But I think we're good, right? I think we're good. Yeah, we should have plenty. We should have plenty of water. We should have plenty of water. And as a matter of fact, our new Mark II pipes can handle 600 per minute, right? And that is exactly how much 5 of those pumps will handle. So we should be cool, right? We should be cool. Let's snap you. Snap to grid line or whatever, would you? Right, so that's going to be your inputs. So we know we're going to want at least Mark II, right? Because you need, for items, you need 120. And Mark II does exactly 120, right? So that's what we're going to want here, is Mark II belts. Okay. We will get Mark II belts. And that should be exactly enough to get our alumina solution going. And then we're going to want splitters that are basically going that way. Okay. So then you could maybe not come this far down. What you could do is maybe come like this, and then Mark IV yourself right into there. And how's that look? Is that pretty cool? Okay. And remember Mark IV. That's a Mark IV lift, right? Good. Mark IV. And that feels pretty good to me. Right? Now you're going to also want alumina solution, and you're going to also want alumina solution. Okay, and then let's just, for a moment here, not forget that power is a thing that we need. So this power line can come straight down to here. Well, probably not. I'm probably going to want multiple power lines, because we're going to need a few spots here, right, to tap into. That's not where I meant to place that, by the way. Stop doing that. Okay. Then you can come back here, get upgraded to a Mark II, and go 1, 2, 3, which now allows all your bauxite to show up. Cool? And then for you guys, we want to connect up the Mark II of these things, right? So let's just see. So there's there's a Mark II pipeline. The pipeline junction doesn't seem to have a limit, so we can junction things just fine. There's not a Mark II junction. And then there's a Mark II pump, which we probably don't need, right? So what I'm going to do is just let this guy come up to here-ish. Okay. And then let's just get all of these connected in a way that makes sense. So you will probably want to junction off of this guy. Encroaching on another's clearance, huh? Whose clearance are you encroaching on? Don't give me clearance problems now. Water extractors. Don't give me clearance problems now. We're gonna figure this out. There we go. Repositioned it in a way that seems to fit, and that's cool. Now the only problem is we want to make sure this guy doesn't have any encroaching on another's clearance problems. Because he might. He's really compact. Maybe I need to move these up a little bit. It's gonna be tight. I have to figure this out. There we go. Check that out. That looks good, right? And then we should have no problem coming out the front of these guys. Okay, cool. So you can come here. You can loop around-ish. You look a little funky, though. So maybe I'll move this up some. The turn of the pipe is too sharp for the attachment. Okay, that's cool. That should be good, right? And then, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's not terrible. Just make sure everybody has power now in a way that works, right? Beautiful. I like it. And now let's make sure that all of you guys are Mark II pipes, just to make sure that you're flowing as well as you can, right? Like these technically don't have to be Mark II pipes, but it's whatever. Right? It's fine. This one definitely does, though. Alright, so as long as I made everything a Mark II pipe, we should be good. Right? And you should have no problem with your water flow. Okay. Then we just bring him straight down here. Try and make it look nice. And I have no idea what I'm doing, in case that's not clear to you guys, because I've never made these before. I have no idea what I'm doing at all. Is that lined up? I can't quite tell. There we go. I'm hoping that's lined up. We'll find out. And that should be more than enough water, right? More than enough water. And now we're getting our alumina solution and our silica. That is cool beans. That is cool. That is awesome. Nice. Flow rate's nice and good. Look, we're definitely hitting the 590 M3, which means we did a good job. And there you go, folks. Step 1 of aluminum processing complete. We will come back next episode and work on the next steps. I'm gonna have to get coal over here because that's the next step, right? So remember, our next step for alumina solution is we're gonna need to make aluminum scrap, which means we take the solution, we add coal to it, and we get the scrap. Deal? So that's what we're gonna do next episode. So I have to get coal over here, and then, you know, fun stuff. All right, for now, Del20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Next time we'll do that. Take it easy.